deportation, judges blocking orders. That is what's happening in the news or over the weekend. Trump invoked the Aliens Act. It's something like the Alien Invasion Act or something like that, right? And basically, it was a way for him to basically show that we are being invaded, or we have been invaded, by illegal aliens, specifically gang members like Tren de Aragua, and we need to be able to invoke this act to expedite the process to deport illegal migrants that are a part of gangs. And liberals have a problem with that. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. This is what's going on.
The Alien Enemies Act dates all the way back to 1798. It's only been used 3 times in U.S. history. The last time was during World War II, when Japanese Americans were sent to internment camps. That move, of course, already sparking some legal.
Let me stop and say, baby girl kind of nice looking. I like her. I like her. She looked good. I like what she got going on there. Okay.
Challenges.
And one of those challenges has already worked. Eyewitness News reporter Tim Caputo joins us now with those late-breaking details. Tim.
Jory, Michelle, it is clear the U.S. is not in a war right now. This isn't necessarily a loophole, but maybe kind of a workaround from the Trump administration. Clearly, they're making some moves, trying to claiming the U.S. is being invaded at this point by Venezuelan gangs, and that's why they were invoking this rarely used act. But within 2 hours of this announcement this afternoon, a federal judge blocked it with a temporary restraining order. Now, the White House claims the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, or TDA, is perpetrating, attempting, and threatening an invasion or predatory incursion against the United States. And yes, while there have been arrests of TDA gang members in Colorado and in New York in the last year, many view this move as an attempt by the Trump administration to accelerate deportations. A federal judge.
So, just a question, couple different questions here. First question is, you can't get a judge to do nothing when it comes to expediting immigration or to move faster through the immigration courts and getting things done and all of that. But you're telling me that within 2 hours, because a lot of these judges are liberal, they are appointed, within 2 hours, they're able to try to get a temporary restraining order against Trump from deporting illegal migrants that are a part of gangs outside of the United States of America? Where they do that at? So within 2 hours of Trump declaring this act, they are able to get a judge to input a temporary restraining order against Trump from deporting people that have been identified as a part of gangs and is over here illegally. Okay, just want to make sure that we're on the same page.
This afternoon shut it down before it really ever began, even ordering planes that were carrying non-citizens that are literally in the air right now to turn around and return to the U.S. Even before the Trump administration announced it would invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, there were signs this was coming, and there were questions about the legality.
It's never been used in this circumstance before. The terms of the statute require that we're at war or that there is an invasion. Many of the executive orders have used the word invasion, I think, in part to prep for the possibility of using the statute in order to deport people. But you'd have to have a judge who agrees that there is an invasion under the statutory definition and that we are looking at enemy nationals.
So this temporary restraining order issued by the judge just minutes ago puts those deportations on hold just for 14 days. ICE will keep those non-citizens in custody until the lawsuit makes its way through the courts. The ACLU were the ones who actually brought this to the attention of the courts, claiming those Venezuelans being deported are actually being sent to prisons in El Salvador, not their home country. The Trump administration, not surprisingly, already responding, claiming the president's Article 2 powers give him the power to unilaterally deport anyone who poses, quote, a significant threat to the U.S., clearly something that'll go through the courts for the next days and weeks to come.
Well, in the meantime, okay, because I want to make sure that we all on the same page. In the meantime, the Trump administration said, that's nice, we still gonna get these people up out of here, and they completely ignored the judge's orders and temporary restraining order. Check it out.
Now to the battle over immigration. This weekend, the Trump administration deported hundreds of Venezuelans it says are members of a notorious gang, sending them to a prison in El Salvador. The White House is invoking a little-used but controversial law from 1798. Sources tell ABC News the administration made a calculated decision to ignore a federal judge's directive to turn the flights around. Here's ABC senior White House correspondent Selena Wang.
Tonight, the Trump administration sharing this dramatic video from the president of El Salvador showing alleged Venezuelan gang members arriving to his country overnight, marching into prison. The administration deporting hundreds of Venezuelans from the U.S. that they accuse of being members of Tren de Aragua, despite a federal judge yesterday ordering the administration to temporarily cease deportations under the Alien Enemies Act. The president invoking the obscure wartime law from 1798 that was partially used to intern Japanese Americans during World War II, allowing the government to deport non-citizens without due process. The judge saying during yesterday's hearing, any plane containing these folks that is going to take off or is in the air needs to be returned to the United States.
Never.
The president of El Salvador posting, "Oopsie, too late," in response to an article about the court order. Sources tell ABC News the Trump administration made a calculated decision to ignore the judge's ruling to turn around the flights because they were already over international waters. But in a filing today, the Department of Justice claiming some gang members subject to removal under the act were deported before the court's order.
I'm trying to understand, why are you guys so heavy on trying to keep people here that's not supposed to be here? First, they're not supposed to be here. They crossed over into this country illegally. They should be deported. Secondly, they've committed a crime inside of the United States of America. Third, they've been identified as gang members. 3 strikes over in California, you could get a life sentence. You can get 25 to life as an American citizen under the 3-strike rule. Why are you guys so heavy on fighting for people that don't even rock with you? Y'all don't even fight for your own family members as hard. Your homeboy couldn't even call you and say, "Hey man, can I get $50 to tide me over until Monday and it's Sunday, and I give it back to you tomorrow. I get my check on Monday, but I'm having a little difficulty because I got to make sure that I feed my family." Your homeboy could call you and you would bang on him. Hang up the phone on him right in front of his face. And you spend more energy, more time. You giving the causes. You're making sure that you're donating to Democrats that stand against immigration and illegal immigration inside of the United States of America. Y'all such traitors. Y'all some hoes. Straight up. That's how we gotta put it. That's how we gotta describe it. Y'all some hoes. All of these people, we ain't even gonna say you treasonous. You a hoe. That's what we used to call them back in the day, before the internet, before we got on the internet and we all got all of this stuff. You's a straight up sucker. You's a hoe. You won't even hold your own homeboy together. You just against anything that this administration do. Anything that this administration do that's good for Americans. You didn't even want them in your own neighborhood, but now you want to protect them because Trump is deporting them. What is you talking about, fam? We getting them up out of here. America is closed for repairs. We don't have the capacity to let anybody in here that is not supposed to be here, let alone the fact that you are an illegal migrant and a gang member. So you came over here with the teardrop. At the very least, they wasn't profiling for the teardrop. You seen the MS-13 across the chest. You seen the Tren de Aragua tattoo on the arms and all of that. And you was like, yeah, come on over here inside America. It's okay. We know that you're going to be a better citizen than you were in the place that you came from. Nah, don't worry about it. Even though you got out of jail, we just going to go ahead and let you come on over here and do what you want to do when you want to do it.
The White House saying Tren de Aragua is a direct threat to the national security of the United States. These heinous monsters were extracted and removed to El Salvador, where they will no longer be able to pose any threat to the American people.
They never should have been allowed into our country in the first place. It's our responsibility to protect our families, to keep our streets clean and safe. And that's exactly what the president said he was going to do. And that's what you're seeing being executed right now. We will follow the law.
Lindsay, President Trump is thanking the president of El Salvador for accepting the alleged gang members. And tonight, a White House official tells me that the administration has been in compliance with the court order. The Trump administration is now asking the D.C. Circuit Court to halt the federal judge's decision. Lindsay?
I don't know where do we breed so many traitors inside of the United States of America? Where did they come from? How do we get so many people that hate America? Why do y'all hate this country? What did this country do to you to cause for you to be so against it that you would actually spite your own self, spite your own neighborhoods, hate your own situation? This is literally the definition of an incel. Y'all are incels against America. You an incel against Trump. You know how they say, oh man, men are incels when they hate women. Y'all incels. You hate America. You hate American values. You hate men and women getting married. You hate men playing in men's sports and women playing in women's sports. You hate women having their own bathrooms. I was over the weekend, I was looking at a woman and she had opened a woman-only gym, right? She had opened a women's-only gym. And I don't know exactly where this gym is located, but it was a black girl and she opened up a women's-only gym, which you should be able to do whatever you want. As long as you're not breaking the law, you should do what you want to do. If you want to open up a bakery and you only want to sell to Indians, then you should have the right to do so. You might go out of business because you only marketing yourself to Indians, but that's on you. So you're not going to get rich. That don't hurt me because you don't want to sell me no pie, no whites only pie. I don't care. It don't make me no difference. That means that I should have been making my own pie in the first place. Thank you for not giving me diabetes. Anyway, I probably didn't need the pie. I'm trying to lose weight anyway. I'm not tripping about it, right? But let's say hypothetically, because the woman she opened a women's only gym. Do you know who came against her? Who got pissed off for her? She's a huge content creator on TikTok. Women. Women were the ones that were pissed off at her. And you know why they were pissed off at her for opening up a women's only gym that was only for women? Because kind of her reasons was kind of like, oh, we tired of men hitting on us at the gym and, men are misogynistic or whatever. And, I didn't agree with it, but okay, cool. So you wanted to solve for a problem. You wanted to market yourself to only women. Awesome. You know who came against her? Women. Do you know why? Because she said that she would no longer allow for trans men to come into her gym to work out with the women. You know about it, Blasian. You know about it. She said that, and it was a bunch of other people that was on the platform pissed at her. They got mad at her for not being inclusive of men that identified or dressed up as women wanting to work out at the gym because they were biological men, and her facility was not set up for, nor was she interested in serving anybody that was not biologically born a woman, and they had a whole fallout about why she wasn't inclusive. So her whole thing was to be misogynistic and have a feminist mindset, and that's how she marketed herself, and it came back to bite her, and people was pissed at her. That is what we used to inside of America.